Actually, do we want to start with Ladies and Gentlemen? Because last time we started with a funny. I guess we can't really create a funny.
You can't create a funny. We're just not fucking funny.
Funny's have to happen organically, goddamn.
The funny's gotta be natural. Natural funnies.
Aye,
Natural
aye.
ha-has.
Alright.
Like how John Wick naturally fell down the stairs.
Alright, this is the intro. That will be included. Alright, everybody. Hello, and welcome to the 35th episode of TalkingTelly. Let that sink in. 35 episodes. It's been over... We've been doing this for a year now, by the way, just in case no one has realised. We've been doing this...
35 eps, people. 35 eps.
Our first video was published April the 1st, and now it's April the 7th, so a little over a year. Our first real episode, Breaking Bad, April 8th, was published on YouTube, so a year to the first time we published a full-on episode. And we are back, and we are better than ever, and we are talking about John Wick Chapter 4. Now, for the uninitiated, there's no point in explaining it because John Wick is a guy with guns who goes bang bang. He is a retired assassin who is constantly getting brought back from retirement, and he can never quite retire. He can never quite get his freedom, and he has to, for one reason or another, kill the bad guys. And the bad guys are whoever is in John Wick's way, because John Wick hates people.
Yeah, he is the Baba Yaga. He is the death bringer. He is an assassin's worst nightmare. And this movie, I have to say, it does a great job. Coming up into John Wick 4, I saw a stat there. He had over 299 confirmed kills in the movie. Like 1, 2, and 3, we see him kill just around 300 fucking people. And I gotta say, this movie, it's got his most kills, yeah.
No, definitely, 100%.
It's got his most kills, yeah. Fella literally, he runs around Paris, and I say he killed around 100 people in one city alone. One city.
The streets of Paris are awash with blood.
Quoting Les Mis there. Is that a Les Mis quote I heard?
I don't think it's a quote. I think it's just a statement. I don't think it's a quote. It'd be cool if it was.
I thought it was a Les Mis quote there. I was like, oh, here we go. Telling the folks at home to watch our episode.
Nah, but there are some floods in Dhaka with blood.
Fucking hell. Fucking hell. No.
But John Wick 4 is the fourth movie in the franchise, and I don't know about you guys, but I was coming into this movie with an apprehensive mindset. I thought, the fourth John Wick movie, like seriously, like I love John Wick 1. To me, that's the ultimate John Wick. John Wick 2, it was good. I enjoyed it. But then John Wick 3, has the ending is he has to fight those super soldiers, stalked, like bulletproof people.
No, I thought John Wick 3, it brought a lot of good things to the series. Don't get me wrong. John Wick 1 and John Wick 2 didn't have the vivid colours. It didn't have like top class cinematography. Of course, it had really good cinematography. The fight scenes were amazing in John Wick 1, John Wick 2. And you can definitely see them losing that little side of it in John Wick 3 and 4.
Yeah, it was just a bit
like some of the scenes in John Wick 1 were like butt clenching. The pencil still gets me every time.
With a fucking pencil.
But now, like, in John Wick 3 and John Wick 4, and I feel like my only critique for the movie, well, movies, I'll say, is that it seems a little bit too, like, flamboyant. All the fight scenes seem a little, you know, too extra. John Wick 1 and John Wick 2, based in reality, there was no vivid colours, there was no amazing open pan shots. It was just gruesome.
Well, there were great colours, but I think it was like real. Like John Wick 4 is outrageous. It's fun. It is a wild ride that's 2 hours and 50 minutes. However, personally, I just want to get this out of the way at the start of this episode. I rather John Wick when it's more subtle, when it's people, like not everyone has coats that are bulletproof and not everyone can just like run around and has to shoot the guy in the face 5 times. However, I must say, this movie only has that for the first 40 minutes. And then once he leaves Osaka, which I thought was cool, but I wasn't a big fan of Osaka.
I
then
thought Osaka was pretty cool.
yeah, but it was just a bunch of. I thought it was pretty cool up until like the guys with the I don't know how to describe them, like the Death Squad appeared. Up until the Goon Squad appears,
Oh yeah.
and then you're like, ah, who gives a shit now?
I
But
thought the Goon Squad. They were the most OP and yet like, nerf
weak.
people imagine.
Yeah.
How are they like getting beaten by arrows? That's what they never like. explain in the
Yeah,
movie.
how does an arrow
These
go
guys
through the plate,
have
but a bullet
traditional-
doesn't? Like, how does a metal arrow go through them when a bullet doesn't? Like, well, this makes no sense. This isn't Dune, where the slower something goes, the more damage it deals. Like, this isn't like, you can't go through it like that. This isn't fucking Dune. This makes no sense.
Mm.
And
And the fact that people were actually getting killed by the arrows as well was so stupid. It just, I don't know, it didn't make sense. And if arrows are able to go through the suits, like we see, like the main guy, he takes an arrow in the arm.
yeah.
If arrows are able to go through the suits, why aren't all bullets, which the assassins are using, made out of the material the arrow tip is made of?
Why isn't
If that
everyone
can go through a
using Gundam
fucking-
arrows?
Heavily refined Kevlar suit.
Yeah.
Why not make the bullets out of it? That's something I just didn't understand in the movie.
I know people like don't like it, and this isn't a major critique by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think obviously none of the John Wick movies are exactly super realistic. However, I think this movie it has a lot of fun with that. However, I will have to say this is my mainly only critique throughout this whole movie is that your suspension. What's disbelief? You have to suspend your disbelief in this movie. You have to be like, all right, this is a movie. They're having fun. You're gonna watch John Wick kill people. This isn't John Wick like having to escape. I feel like throughout most of this movie, John Wick is in control, or as in like he's fine. Actually, I'll talk about this later because I don't want to get into this now. But we should talk about what we love in this movie. And that is
there's a lot of things I love in this movie. There's a lot of things, don't get me wrong.
A lot of things. And I would have to say that I want to start off with the locations. I think I love the huge bombastic locations that they have in this John Wick. And not the desert, not that in John Wick 2 or 3 or whichever one was that in. I don't like the desert.
It's in John Wick 3.
Yeah. But in this one, like Osaka, I have my complaints, but it was still a really cool place. And then Berlin and Paris.
Oh, Berlin was
phenomenal.
class.
Yeah. So let's
No,
talk
I
about
really
Berlin.
like the settings. I really like the locations they used. I really like the way they traveled around. Like the different, I don't know, styles of each place.
Yeah.
Really
Delicious.
complimented the movie. Like I really loved the nightclub in Berlin. I thought
Oh,
it
yeah.
was class.
Berlin, and let's talk about Berlin. Berlin was phenomenal. Like it was bussing. That club, they were going in, and yeah, Hubert saying people just casually dancing while they were beating the shit out of each other. It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
we said that as well. I was there thinking, like, what the fuck? People are dying. They were getting axes implanted in their skulls, and they're like, bust a move.
Yeah, they're getting groovy on them.
Really
Yeah.
had to start flexing on them, you know. Oh, damn, he's dead. Oh,
Yeah, back to dancing.
just
baby.
like this song. Change this song.
I really have to commend the acting in this movie, and I don't think Keanu Reeves is like, as John Wick is not supposed to be given a great acting performance because John Wick isn't some character that has a lot of nuance. But with the other characters, I was very impressed by, particularly, I don't even remember his name. Oh, it was like Himmler, the fat German guy. What was his name?
Ah, he was great.
He was phenomenal.
Very, like, slimy, very greasy.
Extremely greasy. A guy you know is gonna fuck you over if you make a deal with him.
Like, we literally have a hobo king in John Wick, and this guy seemed like the biggest rat king you did. He was proper.
He looked like
you're watching
slimy
and you're
Kingpin.
thinking- yeah, literally slimy king. He looked like what I imagine like penguin, like a realistic penguin to be like.
But his eye is a bit too fat. He was like humongous.
He looks like the penguin. He looks exactly.
No, I
like
don't think you remember how big that guy was. And he was throwing, like, it's not just big. He was throwing, like, spinning roundhouse kicks as well. Like,
fella, like, the fella was going 80.
the athleticism of him.
Man. Imagine if he lost a couple pounds, he'd be unstoppable. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ. He
yeah.
was throwing John Wick around like a rag doll at one stage. I was like, Jesus Christ. I think he went with the doubles fucking clothesline.
Yeah, he
Leading
did.
to a people's elbow. You're
Yeah.
thinking, get this guy in the WWE. He is the big show.
He literally is the big show.
He literally is the big show. But yeah, he pulled off like some tornado kick as well, like spun in the air, 360.
Oh, man.
Correct John Wick in the skull. You're thinking, what the fuck?
John Wick was going to take to school. I can't find the character's name. I don't. I can't find it. John Wick.
Some fat German guy.
Fat guy.
Nightclub scene. John
Oh!
Wick 4.
He was in it. Oh, I wasn't. Oh, it's a bit of a shame, but the guy wasn't actually that fat. Like, he was in a fast
Yeah.
suit.
Oh. That makes sense. What's the name of the actor?
Scott Adkins. He played Killer. The fat guy was called Killer.
He played Killer.
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 Ew. That's a shit name. That's like a shitty SoundCloud rapper name. That is.
But if you Google
Dude,
Scott
boy,
Adkins,
Killer.
he is shredded. This guy looks like he could beat the shit out of John Wick. Him in Undisputed 3 Redemption looks mental. Him in Boyaka Undisputed. He was in Ip Man 4. But anyway, Killer. That's a stupid name.
Killer. Killer.
So throughout this whole movie, John Wick basically is trying to kill. He's trying to kill his way out of being in the high table, and he's running away from the tracker and Donnie Yen, who's chasing him. Kane. It's funny because Kane uses a cane because he's blind.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I thought you got that one. I thought that one.
Yeah, I did. That's what I'm saying. It's funny. And Kane, and then they all meet each other at this German nightclub, and they have this, very tense poker match, and 5 cards, 5-card draw, not on the middle of the table, and then it's very tense. Donnie Yen has, I think he had a royal flush. John Wick, Dead Man's Hand. The tracker had something different. Or the tracker had royal flush.
Tracker had royal flush.
Yeah. I think Donnie Yen had...
Kane had a straight.
Yeah, he had a straight. And Killer, he got a 2. A 2. A 2. A 2. And he's like, I got another card. And he plays down 5 of a kind of 2. Which is, for the uninitiated, impossible in a deck of cards, since you don't have
You can't.
4
There's only
types.
4 different groups. So he pulls out the 5th 2, and Kane goes. He pulled out a 5 of a kind, didn't he? That's the line.
And that's also, it's also important. Kane is blind, and he's playing
Kane
cards.
is blind, by the way. So you're thinking to yourself, how the fuck can this guy play cards? But yeah, he knew. He knew what cards he had. Like a weird superpower.
Nah, the
I
game.
don't think any.
Nah, the game was rigged from the start.
The game was rigged from the start, but how did he know he was going to get it straight?
Because you feel like the cards can be indented, so you feel them. The cards can have.
Can
Yeah. I watched a lot of stuff. The cards can have. He didn't shuffle the deck right. He didn't shuffle it right because let's just say he didn't get 5 2s, like Donnie and who was it? Whoever got that,
Actually, in the thing, we don't actually see him shuffling the cards, which is a fun
well,
fact.
he does technically shuffle at the start. When he comes in, he's like shuffling it and he's like laying it out. But you can false shuffle. Like you can shuffle it, but you're not actually shuffling it. It looks like you're shuffling, but you're moving the first half back and then back to the start, so you're not actually shuffling it. They're all false shuffles. So he was definitely just making a fool out of them.
I think they all knew. From
Oh
the
yeah,
start.
they all knew. They all knew that this was gonna end with a huge fight. None of them thought that none of them thought they're walking out of this, with no skin off their teeth. And the fight was great. Like they're fighting in the rain with the music pumping, and throughout this movie, it's all about who gets to kill John Wick. So the tracker, he doesn't exactly want to kill John Wick because he needs the bounty of John Wick to go high enough for him to be able to, you know, make it worth the risk. He's not gonna kill John Wick. You know, he's not gonna endanger himself if it's only 20 million. It has to be 40. It has to be 46 or whatever it was. So
Yeah, he's watching the bounty go up. He's
he's constantly making sure John Wick doesn't die because he wants to kill John Wick, and he gets in positions where he can kill him, but he's like, it's not enough though, is it? He knows that he can kill him for more money, so why would he kill him then? So he's constantly protecting John Wick, and he's got this dog with him as well, which we all like. And the dog also like kills people and
the dog
bites him in the
nuts. Bites nuts, killed.
Knows all the good words.
All the good boy words. Oh, but I thought Kane was definitely a big asset to this movie. He was definitely a big asset. Looking back in the movie, of course, I didn't have my doubts, but when I was watching the movie, I was like, blind assassin, here we go.
I was like, oh, okay. Like, in the second, I was like, oh, he's neat. That's, like, it's okay. But this movie ramps up perfectly. Like, but obviously you want a better start, but the movie only gets better. There's never a point when you're like, alright, it's gotten worse now. It only gets better. Up until the last scene, the movie only gets better. Which is something...
I feel like there was definitely a lot of great characters. This movie, without the characters, wouldn't be the same.
Oh yeah, no.
I have to say.
And a lot of, like all the characters are basically new. Most like all like Tracker, Donnie Yen, Bill Skarsgård only appeared at the end of the third one. The Marquis, the Harbinger. He was really cool. He was like brand new.
It was the Harbinger.
The old guy.
Oh yeah.
The judge.
The guy, the judge of the deal. Yeah. He was cool. I love his voice. I know him from other things. I love his voice. It's so boss.
It was beast.
But I think we're not even talking about like the best characters from this movie. We're missing out on Winston. Winston was a great character. I love Winston. I love Winston in this movie.
He was good. Well, I don't think
he was boss, and he was always looking after his own needs first.
Yeah.
He's a good friend of John Wick. He has to get himself sorted too. He doesn't have the hotel. Mr. Manager is no longer Mr. Manager. He knows his time is up, and he knows the only person he can actually turn to turn the tides.
Oh my god! Guess who plays the Harbinger? Everyone at home, I want you to guess right now. Like you probably won't know the actor, but guess like what characters he has played other than the Harbinger.
No, because I know the voice.
It's a very famous voice. So who did he play? Guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Because I know the voice. I'm trying to think back on the deal.
5, 4, 3.
Alright, look. I don't.
No guess.
No
guess.
No.
Alright, so
Right.
he
Can't get it.
he plays a lot of animated characters because you know his voice. So he plays the iconic Mr. Krabs.
He plays Mr. Krabs?
Yeah. Mr. Krabs. He plays. Mr. Krabs. He plays your man from Detroit Become Human. Fucking the police cop. He plays Damien Darkblood from Invincible. Hello? I think Owen's gone. Also, it's not Russell Crowe. I really hope my internet didn't crash. Come back. Text something in if you can hear me.
Alright, I'm back.
He's back. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
He plays Damien Darkblood in Invincible.
Oh, he does.
He plays everywhere, man.
The guy is everywhere. Right, I'm gonna need to go on mute for 2 minutes. Need to get something sorted. You continue talking about. Actually, if you want to start talking about the parrot.
He also voiced Long Fang in Avatar. I'll go on to Paris. I want to talk about the resume of Clancy Brown.
Right. I'll be back in a second.
Hell of a name. Alright, but let's move on to the Act 3 of the movie. If Act 1 was, Osaka in Japan, Act 2 was in Berlin. Then Act 3 was Paris. And Paris was probably... The Paris, act has been done similarly throughout the other John Wick movies. However, I think it was perfect, basically, in this movie. Because throughout the third movie, it's the movie where people are hunting John Wick. He's excommunicado who needs to be killed by all the assassins in the world. On John Wick 3, the Paris scene is where I think this idea is fully reached and this potential is actually activated. So in Paris, the bounty goes up very high, and there's this radio tower that is trying to speak out the location, and your one who's controlling it is trying to get the bounty hunters all psyched up because it's 40 million now. And John Wick has just entered the Parc de Triomphe, and he's just going here and he's going there, and she's giving directions. And it's literally people are sitting at the coffee table, they're looking at him go by, they're doing this, doing that, and then it's on, because he can't make it to sunrise. Because the plan is that he has agreed to a duel with the Marquis, and, they're going to use champions. So Marquis chose Donnie Yen to fight for him, Kane. However, the duel is at sunset. And so, before that, John Wick needs to survive till sunset. And all of Paris is coming alive, because the Marquis is from Paris. He has all this power there. He probably planted all these bounty hunters there specifically to kill John Wick. And now his plan is going to come to fruition. And so it's absolute chaos. It starts off, he's in the street, people are shooting at him, and it's he's killed them. And then cars start coming out of nowhere, ramming him, hitting him up there. And then it takes into probably my favourite part of the movie, which is the Arc de Triomphe fight. Now, this fight is 5, 10, 15 minutes long. Well, it's maybe 10 minutes. It's long. And it's basically the huge roundabout, which is around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. It's a humongous roundabout with 5 or 6 lanes. But there's no markers, so it's a free-for-all car-wise. And John Wick gets on it. And he's driving around, and then these cars are coming at him, and he's fighting literally tens of even maybe hundreds of assassins on the goddamn Arc de Triomphe, driving around and doing drifts, shooting with his gun. And then when that doesn't work, he has to go on his feet, and it's the chaos of the cars, because it's not just they're fighting, but the element and the environment that they're in is inherently dangerous. John Wick needs to be on his toes because these cars are coming at him left and right. Trucks, bikes, people everywhere. And he doesn't know if any of these cars that's pulling up is going to be someone that's going to try and kill him, or some random person who's driving and is going to hit him by mistake. So it's literally chaos. It's carnage. You have no idea what's going on. Bodies flying left and right. Goons getting destroyed. And John Wick isn't exactly untouchable here. He's getting knocked down, he's getting hit plenty of times by cars. Obviously, he's John Wick, so he doesn't die because he's John Wick. He's getting trashed around, but also holding his own. And then, he gets on a bike and he's driving and he's shooting people. And it's probably the best combination of vehicles and fighting I've seen in probably any movie ever. I really have to give props to the cinematography in this movie. And later on, we'll discuss another phenomenal scene where the camera was absolutely perfect. And not only this, but also the tracker shows up at the Arc de Triomphe, and he helps, John Wick not die, because he's calling the Marquis as they're fighting in between shootouts, and he's alright, I needed to go up, but he gives him the offer, and the Marquis refuses, and he has to go by. And the tracker is actually a really good character. I like him. I do want to touch on him and the Marquis, and he had a very specific scene earlier on in the movie where the tracker was being employed, and he had to prove his loyalty, that he would actually try and kill John Wick. He's not just some guy accepting the job. So the Marquis stabs him in the hand, and he tells him, you can either pull it out of your hand like a weak man, or you can pull your hand out of a knife like a man who's willing to take the pain who will go through his word and kill John Wick. And he has to literally pull his hand physically out of the knife that is in the middle of his hand. And it's a brutal scene where he's literally screaming and he's pulling it out. And you can see, like, they don't cut away at all. You can see the knife creating a seam, carving through the red paste that is his hand. And he has to butcher his hand. And then, he has to shake it with the marquee. And I have to give props to Bill Skarsgård for being... yeah, more like true to himself, I guess, true to himself. I feel like the message was he has to prove that he's not just some random bitch. Like, he has to prove that he's willing to go through whatever to kill John Wick, because killing John Wick isn't just, oh, you have a gun and you shoot him. Killing John Wick is slow, it is painful. But yeah, it definitely was about the message as well. The Marquis is very, how would you say... he's like flamboyant, but he believes a lot of like outwardly stuff. He believes that he should be at the top. That these all people serve him, and no one works independent. And come on, yeah, you are right, as you want, yeah, because he pulled his hand out as he won't serve the Marquis. Yeah, I get that, but I think maybe that was from the tracker's perspective. But it was definitely what the Marquis meant by that was if he pulls out the knife first, he's not committed. He isn't, a real man. And I'm pretty sure Marky said that he'd kill him if he pulled out the knife. But if he pulls his hand out of the knife, he proves he has what it takes. He will endure the pain, and he will slog through everything that is needed to kill John Wick. He has self-control. He isn't going to jump the gun and do something stupid. And I think the tracker has been doing that this whole movie. He was very self-controlled. He didn't take the easy way out. He wouldn't take the 20 million when he could take the 40 million. And, well, since Owen's not back, I'm going to continue talking. And I want to go into another phenomenal scene, which is later on in the movie. And that is, there's a fire gun scene. I feel like that's the only way I can describe it. The abandoned apartment fight. So when they're showing up everyone giving up in Paris, they're showing these people that they're testing out these guns where they're like flammable shells. So they shoot them with like these big shotguns. And it also sets people on fire. And John Wick enters this apartment, close quarter combat, and the tracker's in there as well. And the tracker just had his bounty raised to 40 million, so he's ready to kill John Wick. And this is like the time. And throughout this movie, we've seen that he's had John Wick in the sights multiple times. I think there was 2 times before this where he had John Wick dead to rights, but he helped him because it wasn't enough money. But now, it's time to die. And so, they're fighting, but they're not fighting each other yet, because this huge gang of Parisians come in with these like huge guns, and like they're just gonna kill, like they're gonna kill John Wick. But they're also gonna kill the tracker. The tracker doesn't want them killing John Wick, and the entire scene is shot from top down. So you're looking down as John Wick is going through the corridors, kind of like Gundam, the game, or like any top down game. And it's so fun. And this isn't like a 30 seconds and it's over. This isn't a little fad. This is like a minute or like definitely more. It's like 4 minutes like of pure action from the top. And it's really good because it gives you a whole new perspective of how John Wick fights, the elements, the environments. And it would cut back to John Wick like, a normal third person POV. And then it also go back to the top down point of view. And it was very nice. I have to appreciate it because, like, we're not watching Better Call Saul here. We're not watching, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones. I'm not expecting the most unique angles, the greatest shots. But this movie had some phenomenal shots. And this one being one of the best shot, probably. Because it's continuous, it's fluid. This is some 1917 shit, 1917, the World War I movie, which was shot. It wasn't shot in one shot, but you watch it in one shot, because the way it's filmed is seamless. So it's all one shot. It would be one long shot, then they'd cut it, and then cut another long shot directly in. So it seems like one long shot. And that's what this action piece was. Which is really, I feel like that's really the essence of John Wick. Because John Wick, throughout the first movie, the main like praise that was heaped upon it was because it didn't use many cuts. That it was clean, it was effective, it showed him counting the magazines. Because action movies up until that point were like taken. and they just everyone knows the taking tree scene where he's trying to hop a fence with a dog chasing him. And there's, I think, 11 or 13 separate cuts of Liam Neeson trying to hop over a fence. And it's genuinely jarring. And so, John Wick stays true to its, to its identity. It doesn't skip a beat. It is what it always was. At least in the first movie, anyway. And it is very, very pleasant to watch. And I do want to talk about... what was it? I had it on the tip of my tongue there. There's another scene that was beautiful. Actually, yeah, before we get onto the end of the movie, I want to also touch on... there's a scene where John Wick has... what was the word put into it? It wasn't say dead. John Wick. He has this sign burned into him saying that he's part of this Russian. Basically, because John Wick is Belarusian originally, but he was, he's changed. He's not. He's left that life. But he has like this tattoo burned into him. I just want to see what it says. Okay, I can't find it. Never mind. So, I want to talk about the Katya character because she was okay, but I think it's important to understand. This movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes. It's the longest John Wick movie, and it's inherently a very long movie. This movie so it's 169 minutes. It was supposed to be 225 minutes. So it's supposed to be 3 hours, 3.5 hours. They cut basically 40 minutes from this movie, 50 minutes, which is crazy to think about. And I'm pretty sure the scenes were cut with the Russians, because in the trailers there was a lot of scenes that showed, the Russians, and they cut that for, I don't know, I think it was just short the time because it's such a long movie, and I think that was the right call because John Wick, it wasn't hard to watch, but it would have been hard to watch if it was on the longer, because you do feel the length. But the Russians were cool. It wasn't exactly great, but it was good. Also, I don't know if you're still listening, but Katya is Osha from Game of Thrones. That's a great, an interesting actress to appear, and a fun character for the length that she's in. And yeah, I think it might be time to start getting into the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes of the movie. So, the movie, I feel like the length really comes from this last fight. So before the final showdown, the duel, John Wick has to get up, I think it's 200 stairs that goes up to like this little palace. And and this whole time, it's like a video game. He's climbing up, he's shooting people, they're attacking him, and he's tossing people down the stairs, and it's really cool because the camera is always from the back. So you're always watching, you always see John Wick go up and then people going down. And it's not like the camera's beside him, the camera's like behind him, underneath him, and it's following him. And then, he's fighting, and it's a good action scenes. And then he gets to the top, and he's like, alright, I made it. And out comes the henchman of the Marquis, this other French guy. And probably the most hilarious scene in the movie. He gets John Wick and he chucks him down the stairs. And it's literally 30 seconds, uninterrupted, of Keanu Reeves, John Wick, just barreling down those stairs. And it's absolutely funny. Because we watched him fight for 10 minutes trying to get up these stairs. And he's just rolling and rolling and rolling. And he's literally rolling on. And he crashes down. Now, this should have killed him. Or this should have incapacitated him. Or this should have been over. But this is John Wick, baby. This is the John Wick Fortnite skin. You survive all the goddamn damage you take. You drink the chug jug and you get back to work. Donnie comes in, he gives him the revive, and then he's back. That's exactly what happens. Kane comes in, helps him up. Because, Kane... he saw John Wick as a friend. He doesn't really want to fight him, but the Marquis has employed him because he threatens to kill his daughter. And so the Kane, like, ideally he would have let him die. You know, let John Wick not make it to the top before sunrise. But they're friends, and in the end, he wants it to be fair. He doesn't want to, you know, John Wick to die this random henchman. Well, not random, but this kind of asshole. And so he helps John Wick, and they go up and they're fighting, and the tracker also appears, and he helps John Wick kill the henchman, because earlier on in the apartment fight with the fire guns, when John Wick's fighting the tracker and it's fairly even, John Wick gets upper hand and he's choking the tracker out as we speak. But when the French guy comes in and he gets attacked by the dog of the tracker, and he goes to kill the dog, and the dog like bites him, the guy whips out his gun and he's pointing at the dog, and the dog's like far away. The dog has no chance. And John Wick can either
Well, the dog knows it's dead.
Yeah, the dog starts
by the way,
barking.
folks. Yeah, the dog already knows.
barking.
No, the dog starts whimpering because it's like, well, fuck.
The dog's like, no, the dog goes woof, like, and as the guy has a gun on him, and then John Wick, he decides, fuck it, I'm not gonna kill Tracker. I'm gonna, well, you'd think kill the guy, but the guy actually survives it somehow. He shoots the guy falls down like 5 stories and survives, and then
How?
the tracker's like, alright, I'll sandwich you. And another funny thing, John Wick's in the apartment and he's like, alright, I gotta get out. He has to make a quick escape. He can't be here for too long, he has to go before sunrise. So he jumps out of a window and falls onto a van, 5 stories. And he lands flat on the ground. And he gets up and walks off.
You're thinking, how are all his ribs not broken? How is he not broken his spine? How is he not fucking dead?
So, could you hear what I was saying?
Yep, I heard all
So,
of it.
what do you think of their stair fight?
Stair fight,
It was long.
I had my misgrievances with the stair fight. First of all, I like that at the very start when you're going up the stairs and there's the bad guys there. It's almost like a video game.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to make it up these stairs in 2 minutes, or the objective fails. You know, you're dealing with the swarms of people, whatever. You got the big bad guys at the top waiting to stop you. I hated how long they did the throwing down the stairs. Like him rolling down the stairs after being thrown. I hated
I thought
that.
that was fun. I thought it was so funny. I thought that was the bee's knees.
Yeah, it was funny, yeah, but it's just like, you'd think he'd stop himself.
How?
But like, how does he keep on rolling? No, he literally gets
No,
the
he
flat
didn't.
ground
Yeah.
at like 2, maybe 3 points. You're like, he can't still be rolling now.
Yeah.
And he keeps on rolling.
It's like when you're a kid and you go down the hill and you want to roll because he's rolling sideways and you can tell Keanu Reeves is like rolling, like he's putting like more effort into the roll. You know what I mean? Like, he's putting his body weight through. But it
Like,
is
it
funny.
didn't look like a realistic roll whatsoever.
It was funny though. You can't say it was not funny.
Oh, no, it was funny. It was definitely one of the most comedic elements in the movie.
It was probably
But
the
it was
only
just so
comedic
fucking... I know, there was a couple funny scenes in it now. When Kane pulls out the pencil, he has like a little cheeky grin in his face, and you're like, uh-oh, callback time, baby. That was funny. Or Winston in general, funny guy.
Winston was a funny guy, but he didn't.
Winston was a funny
I feel like
guy,
he was
man.
only the funny guy.
Nah, he's definitely big boss, man.
He was big boss that got taken down like instantly, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sad." And his friend and his Cameron got killed, and he was like, "White cow." Like he was. And you think about Fulk, he was like, "Why is he dead?" I don't care about him. He was a friend.
Actually, I think I saw something there. I don't know how true this is, but is the actor who played Sharon, the concierge, is he dead?
Yeah, he passed away just a couple of weeks ago.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I guess.
I saw something like that, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. No one really knows why he's dead. Like his family are disputing the cause of death, so we don't really know how he's dead.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That is bad. But they did it nicely in this movie.
They did actually, yeah. I like that. I like the message on the tombstone. A friend. I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
And Winston's explaining of it as well was good. Because usually you'd see like a tombstone saying just a friend in it, and you're like, oh,
A friend.
damn,
Now he only a friend.
damn, he only a friend, friend zone till the end.
He a homie, but he a friend. But yeah, I
I
think
thought the explaining of it was nice.
I think we should get into
But
the final duel and the ending.
yeah, the ending was probably one of the best parts of this whole movie.
Yeah.
I loved
Yeah.
the sunrise backdrop. I loved the style of it.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Genuinely, I love that Kane was like an even match as well.
Yeah, and
And
Kane was no, Kane didn't. Well, he won, but like he was going to lose, if you know what I mean.
yeah, he was going to like both of them knew that. That's
Yeah.
why Kane was like, you'll get out of this alive and you'll be done, Because of course it's a fucking blind guy.
Yeah, it's funny.
A blind guy's not gonna win in a fucking pistol
But
doing
then
that,
again,
is he?
it is straight on, so all you have to do is shoot straight.
That is true, but aiming for vital organs, shit like that.
Well,
That's
John Wick didn't exactly aim for vital organs when he shot his arm or his shoulder.
You never really explain that in the movie either.
Well,
John Wick, contract killer, probably around 400 kills on his under his belt, and he was missing shots.
well,
Of course,
obviously,
look,
it's not gonna
you're
hit
bound to
every
miss a
shot.
few shots, and I know in the end, John Wick didn't want to kill
Yeah.
thing, and he realized that in the final moments at the 10. I think they call it the 10 bound or something like that. When they're
Yeah,
10
the
steps,
10 paces.
10 paces away from each other, and he realized I could take a fall here. I think Kane understood it as well. It's like if he
Yeah.
takes a fall here, of course, Bill Skarsgård's character is going to step up and be like, "I want to kill him."
Yeah, he's like,
I would be the guy who
I want
killed
the
John
coup de
Wick.
grace, the final blow, the last shot. Which is so funny because if John Wick shot at him, added this context, he would have been, killed because it's, unlawful. But the Marquis decided that he wants the final shot. So he goes up to shoot John Wick, and then John Wick, well, he shoots him because John Wick never shot the final shot. It looks like John Wick, just missed or did, but he actually never fires. It's only one shot. So John Wick just blasts him in the face. And I
It
like,
was a great death as well.
and I really liked how they let it be slow. They they allowed to show every single bullet be put in. They allowed to see every single shot, and it was very tense because of that.
Yeah, of course. They made sure we knew you can only have one bullet. And there was no trick of the trade, John Wick has a bullet in his hand kind of thing. No, he takes the hard way, takes the hard route, takes a fucking bullet in order to give him. It was a satisfying ending. It was.
And then, so Winston gets his hotel, John Wick, then, Donnie and, Kane wins, so he doesn't have to, his daughter is all good, and he's out of the table. And John Wick also wins because he's out of the table. And so now, John Wick goes down the stairs. He tells Winston to take him home. And then he sits on the stairs, and he slumps over. And then the movie cuts to his grave. And it says loving husband, because that's what he said he wants on it. But the big question has to be asked: did John Wick die?
See, they really left themselves open-ended with this one. They really left themselves open-ended because they could take it any route they wanted. Personally speaking, I don't want to see another John Wick movie.
Yeah.
I was happy with the ending. I was happy with what they did. I don't want to see another one. I don't even want to see a prequel, to be honest.
No.
I think I was happy enough with the way they did it. They don't need any more than that. Leave it. Let the old dog lie. That was what I think they tried to get at with this final movie. John Wick slumping over was him finally being done. He can finally rest.
Yeah.
Proper Thanos style.
Except Thanos got the rest.
Thanos got to rest
Yeah.
until he fucking hit the hay.
Yeah, that was 5 years after.
To be fair,
Thanos got 5 years of peace.
Jeez.
John Wick
But,
only got like a couple of seconds. Yeah, I don't want another John Wick. I don't want to.
I don't want another John Wick movie. I
Um,
don't.
it'd be remembered as great, like if it ends now.
Because genuinely, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. I highly recommend anyone who has an interest in action movies in general. They definitely, number one, give the John Wick movies a try. Number two, if you like them, you got to go see this in cinema. I feel like if you saw this out of cinema, it wouldn't be as good an experience.
Definitely, yeah. See, I never saw
It's a
John Wick.
highly entertaining cinema experience.
It definitely is. No, I never saw John Wick 1 in cinema. But
I didn't either. Bear in mind, it was 18, so how are we supposed to?
John Wick is not 18s to 16s.
Is it? No, I thought John Wick 1 was 18s, and I thought 2 and 3 were 16.
No. No, John Wick was 16 always.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's interesting, actually. I thought it was always 18s. I thought, oh, maybe I'm thinking of like or in America. Or
Yeah, or is in America, but or is 16.
Ah, right. That makes sense, and that makes sense.
But now let's get on to the legacy of John Wick and their best movies. Because quickly, I want to point out the box office. The first one, see, the first one was weird because no one really saw it in the movies. Because everyone knew second John Wick. It's like with Dark Souls. Dark Souls 1, everyone knows Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1's great. Dark Souls 2, everyone knows it's shit. And Dark Souls 3 is when everyone started playing it. Like with Witcher. Witcher 1, nobody played that game. Witcher 2, some people played it, but not that much. And then everyone was playing Witcher 3. So with John Wick, not that many people saw John Wick 1 in the cinemas. In 2, a good amount saw 2 in cinemas. I saw 2 in the cinemas. But then 3, everyone went to see that. So John Wick 1 had a budget of 20 million, box office of 86. Came out 7 years ago.
7?
I was 12 when John Wick 1 came out.
I'm more shocked at how I felt like it came out years ago.
Yeah.
Come on. 7 years ago. Think about 7 years ago.
Wait,
That's not that long.
sorry,
That's 4
more.
movies.
9 years ago.
Okay, that makes more sense now. Because I was thinking, you're fitting 4 movies in 7 years? That's a bit much. Like.
Yeah, no, 9 years ago.
9 years ago. That's fine.
Then
Yeah, that's
John Wick Chapter 2, 40 million, 170 million in the box office.
Oh,
And that came out
nice.
6 years ago. John Wick 3.
John Wick 3, I'm expecting the highest margin, sir.
Yeah, 327 million. The box office of 70. Came out 4 years ago. And then John Wick 4, still in theaters, came out 2 weeks ago. Less, came out a week. Actually, yeah, 2 weeks ago on the day, actually. 2 weeks ago on the day.
Yeah, 2 weeks on the day. It
Came out.
24th.
So still has a lot of time. 250 million. With a box office of 100. With a
250?
with a budget of 100. So John Wick 4 not the biggest. But that's because I think John Wick 3 had such hype. I think John Wick 4, I didn't hear anyone talking about that.
I know, actually, I saw a couple YouTube videos on it.
Yeah, but nothing similar to John Wick.
Nothing crazy, though. I think people just expected it not to do well.
Yeah, I think people were surprised that it was actually that good.
I was definitely surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I did not think the movie was going to be, like, I personally say, like, my favorite movie of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the discography, the cinematography, the fight scenes, the color usage, everything. The acting in it, all of it was top notch. It was really well done. And a highly enjoyable, entertainable movie. Even though 2 hours and 50 minutes. Bits of it were a slog. I'd definitely watch this movie again. In cinema. Definitely.
Oh shit, there's a post-credit scene. Shit, gotta watch that.
There was a post-credit scene in John Wick?
Yeah.
Oh dear God, this might change everything.
Well, John Wick wasn't in it. It was.
I know, yeah, but
so it was Kane returns to Paris with his daughter, but he's approached by Akira, who whips out a weapon, and then it ends.
Don't know how I feel about that. They're gonna do a Kane spin-off. I already know it. But
I don't think they will.
you don't think so?
Well, I don't really want to watch a Kane spin-off.
I don't watch Kane spin-off either. I could definitely see them doing it, like a Kane and Tracker spin-off.
Why? But they barely talk to each other.
I could definitely see it happening.
Well, there will be a spin-off.
Hollywood Hobbs and Shaw kind of Fast and Furious bullshit.
Yeah, well, Hobbs and Shaw is different than Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious was, look, Fast and Furious was always a bit of a joke of a franchise. Like people like to think Fast and Furious 1 or 2, 3, or those are close, they were pristine. People forget how much of a joke Fast and Furious 2 was, how crap that movie was.
But Too Fast, Too Furious was fucking awful.
People are like,
then you have Tokyo Drift, which is like
so wacky. With the Hulk car, yeah, the Hulk car.
Worst received Fast and Furious movie ever, and that's saying so.
No, it's not. It's actually the one that was beloved.
No.
People love
the worst received, as in like critics.
Oh, critically, yeah.
That's why you say worst received.
Well, you can say worst received by fans.
I like Tokyo Drift.
I liked it. They had the Hulk car though. It was pretty stupid. And the Hulk car.
Don't get me wrong. It was a wacky movie, but it's definitely like one of like the childhood movies I cherish.
Oh, it's definitely not a childhood movie I cherish.
Ah, no, for me it is. That along with Fast 8. Fast 8 is another one which I'm like, I'd watch that if it was on telly right now. If it was on film 4, I'd watch. Yeah.
8.
Yeah, Fast 7, Fast 8.
No.
Not bad.
No. Oh god, so we're gonna run through all Fast and Furious real quick, and we're gonna run through what Rotten Tomatoes says about it. Oh good lord. Alright. But like if you think Fast and Furious, 3, like 4, no one saw that movie. That movie doesn't exist.
The Fast and Furious? Nah,
no, it's just Fast and Furious. The Fast and Furious is the first one. 4 is Fast and Furious.
Ah, okay.
The Fast 5 is my favourite one. I think Fast 5 is iconic. And Brazil with the Rock coming in.
Fast 5 is the best Fast and Furious movie.
And then Fast 6 is decent. Fast 7 was better than I thought it was going to be. Fast 8 I didn't like, and I never saw Fast 9. And Fast 10 comes out in a month.
Oh dear lord.
With Jason
we gotta go see Fast 10, don't we? We gotta go see Fast 10.
We have to see Fast 10. And real quick, before this pod ends, I want to leave everyone with the idea that Fast and Furious 1, but on Rotten Tomatoes, so the worst received one is 4. Then it's 2. Then it's 3. So 3 is not too good. Then it's 1. Then it's 9. Then it's Hobbs and Shaw.
How is Hobbs and Shaw so hot? That was literally the worst movie I've ever seen.
Then it's Fast 8.
They got the Usos fighting guys with guns, with like ancient fucking Samoan goddamn fucking swords and shit like that. And they won. They won against like superpowered dudes.
Then
like fucking Samoan axes. Like what the fuck?
Then it's Fast 8. Then it's Fast 6, Fast 5. And number 1 is Fast goddamn 7. Because I think that's one of the Paul Walker dies.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is. That's the drive off in the sunset.
Yeah. That one should have been the last one.
It should have been,
but I also don't like Fast 7 at all because it has the stupid Rock has to like jump on the helicopter and bring it down, and I thought that was so stupid. And I hate it. I really don't like Fast 7. I hate it. I watched it like a couple of months ago on TV, and it was awful. Like Jason Statham and Vin Diesel just drive into each other at one point towards the end of the movie, like full on.
Okay. Oh, I remember that. Oh,
and then they fight each other with like crowbars. Oh, it's so bad. Fast 5, baby, that's the best one. Nothing comes close. It's disgraceful. Fast 7 got 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Lord, everyone likes it but you.
The audience like Fast 5 more. Oh, okay, I think it's time to call it. Will Fast and Furious
folks, once again.
Fast and Furious is continuing, and John Wick. Will it continue like Fast and Furious? Will it turn into Hollywood? Even though it is Hollywood. Or will it...
No, will it turn cash cow? That's the question. Will John Wick be a cash cow name in a couple of years' time? And I hate to admit it, folks, but it will. John Wick 4 has done too well for them not to bring out
Well,
another movie.
it hasn't
rubbing.
done that well.
Think about that.
Well, it hasn't
2 weeks.
it hasn't even gotten as much as 3.
Think about that.
Normally, opening week, like the first 2 weeks is the most money. We'll see, of course, but
Personally, I can't see them not making another John Wick movie. But it won't be John Wick. They'll have to do maybe even a TV. I could see a TV show.
John Wick's child.
No, not John Wick's child.
It can't be.
I could see a Kane and Tracker show. I'm telling you now. I can see it. I can actually see it right now.
I can't see Kane and I guess. Yeah.
I can see it. Them against the high table, and Akira is going to be the one leading the front. And she's going to be in the show as like
the woman,
one of the main characters. And it's going to be, they need to assemble a team in order to take down the high table because their influence is spread too far.
And then it ends with them becoming the new high table.
That's a little bit too much now.
Excuse me. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen.
I could definitely see Akira becoming leader of the new high table. Actually, I could see that. It's
going to be like it's going to be a council again. It's going to be like Kane's going to be on it, and Tracker's going to be on it, and Winston's going to be on it.
Oh, Winston's definitely going to be on it.
They're all going to be on the high table.
The Bellary King, he's going to be on it.
And this time they're going to do it right. And then John Wick's going to come back from the dead to kill them when they go corrupt.
I don't see John Wick come back from the dead.
I got a spoiler alert. That's John Wick 5. The JCU. The Jordani Cinematic Universe.
The Jordani.
Because that's his real name.
That is true.
Yeah, that is true.
Look, I'll give you that one. That is true.
Alright, thank you everybody for tuning in for this episode. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Don't press every button that you can press, and we'll be forever grateful. But with that, we'll catch you next episode.